Well, that homeowner invited us into his backyard. You can see we're back here now, and we want to show you the field of debris he woke up to. Take a look on the ground here. You can see pieces of his fence scattered everywhere. And if we take you closer towards the back of his yard, you can now see clear through to Mill Creek Road, where police say this crash happened. And the one question that he had, how did this car make it all the way from that side of the creek through the water into the back of his fence? And Dawn, some of those families tell us they feel like 2 years is a long time to have something right here in the middle of Jacksonville Beach closed. Now, as soon as we got out here this morning, we noticed these cones and some concrete pilings have been taken out of the ground here. And that neighbor tells me she was laying down for bed when she heard 4 gunshots early this morning. In the past couple hours, we've seen this crime scene van get here. We just watched 2 other crime scene vans drive off from in front of these homes. You can see one pulling away right now. And Phil and Dawn, this is the complex where those cars were broken into. It's called the Avenues here off Bay Meadows Road. But here's what I really want to show you. Take a look at this fence. It separates it from the Bay Tree apartments. There's a big hole in it. And the path you see here, it leads right up to where JSO says someone was shot this morning. Memorial Park had major damage after one of the storms. Entire benches were taken out and several statues damaged. This is a look at what it looked like when Hurricane Irma's floodwaters rushed in. Family tells me the bullets that went through this window and killed their loved one could have hit anyone here that night. They have a strong message for the people picking up those guns and taking lives. Loretta and Courtney, I just talked with a man out here. Take a look over here. This is the fence that backs up to his yard. His home isn't too far behind it. You can see it's now in pieces after he says that car ended up all the way on that side of the creek. Take a look. My photographer is going to show you that body of water over here. We mentioned that the car was on the side of the road in what looked like a ditch earlier this morning. Now that it's light out, we got a full view of where this car ended up. We saw some plastic car parts there on the bank, but if my photographer walks with me this way, we want to show you some of the tire tracks leading up to where this car left the road. Take a look over here. Now you're looking at Mill Creek Road. You can see that mangled guardrail. So a lot of the debris here in the front area has been cleared. We're going to take a peek through the door here. We don't want to go inside because we know they're working with some heavy equipment, but you can see holes in the roof there. You can see where the sun is coming through. They've got fiberglass hanging. That's because these storms just ripped part of the roof off. And Letitia and Dawn, I can show you right now, their grandmother and grandfather are actually headed back to the home where these children were last seen. They tell me they haven't slept all night. They've actually been sitting in their car outside their home, hoping that these 2 siblings will come wandering up to them. He tells me he thinks someone was probably walking by his house and saw the memorial marker. He believes they took it from his garden to give it to a family member, but now he's hoping they bring it back, no questions asked. Yeah, Courtney, we're getting some of those heavier gusts now. Almost lost my hat a couple seconds ago, but I do want to say we've had about a 20-minute break from the rain. But now I want to take a look at our wind gauge and do a check of some of the gusts we're seeing. When we first got out here around 5 a.m. this morning, it was going up to like 14. That's what it was topping out at. But now we've seen some of those gusts go up as high as 21 miles per hour. Right now we're on the S line, which will connect to the Emerald Trail, and it gives you an idea of what it'll look like. It's totally separate from the road, and no motor vehicles are allowed, which means more safety for bicyclists and families. And we're learning from troopers that a total of 4 people, young people, were inside the SUV when this all happened. We're going to try to show you some tire tracks. They might be a little bit hard to see, but we saw them leading off of US 17 here near County Road 108, and we can also show you a tree here. A lot of damage on it. You can see the bark ripped away from it. This is where it appears that SUV crashed into the tree after swerving away from that deer. Now at an apartment complex that backs up right to where that person was shot. And I want to show you the first thing we realized whenever we got out here. There's just broken windows all over the ground. Now the fence back here, it backs up right to where that person was shot. And I want to be clear that we don't have any confirmation that break-ins here are related. But I do want to show you this is another car in this apartment complex. Shattered window, shattered glass on the ground. And we could just keep going. We can take you through here. Neighbors tell me at least 10 windows were shattered overnight. Here's another one with that broken glass just there on the ground. We've actually been with families in this complex as they've been waking up and finding this. My photographer is going to show you where they're actually talking with police right now. And Courtney, we've been taking you back and forth between Gators and Bulldog territory, but I want to show you a unique tailgate. Check this out, how close this Gators and Bulldogs tailgate is. And that's because it was born from a special friendship that founded right here in RV City. Now I want to introduce you guys to Randy and Cutter, and I want you to show me what you guys have in the smoker here.
Sure you want to see this?
Yes.
All right. Look at that.
Just look at that.
Go Gators. Go Dogs.
Concerns about contamination in lettuce have gotten so high that they have a slogan here at the Urban Folk Farm. Romaine you can trust. Some of this romaine will be harvested tomorrow and go straight to the Riverside Arts Market. The fort here in St. Augustine is a huge draw. Even on a cloudy Monday, we've seen a stream of families headed to check it out. But surprisingly, from this research we found out, historic sites like this one aren't the biggest draw to St. Augustine. These big trucks coming in and out of Michler's Landing all day, it's easy to see how it could be a safety concern for families parking here. We're asking the county what benefit it is to taxpayers for letting this company stage their equipment here. Police say a car was hit by the gunfire. We found all of this glass in the street and even more here on the curb. But the bullets, they didn't stop there. They went through this backyard into a family's home on the next street over. 1965 is when Raines was built, and you can see they've had to add things over the years. We've got what look like some internet cords here very close to this desk where a student would be taking a state test. One of the planes went down yards from a couple's home. I spoke with the woman who lives here. She tells me she was gardening when she heard a loud noise. She ran over and found this, the plane down in a ditch. Right now, it's quiet here at the landing. This gate blocking anyone from getting inside, and you can see it's empty. But one business has been able to get inside. They're salvaging items from the landing. Take a look behind us. You can see one of those ladder trucks spraying a lot of water on the debris, the remnants of where this building used to be. And if we take you a little bit to the left, we can show you where that 4-story apartment building was standing before that fire started this morning. And Phil, she's already in jail right now. She was arrested after she was found guilty last month, but this has been a long time coming for the Cope family. Hunter Cope's mom has waited 2.5 years for this case to go to trial. When you're driving around Atlantic Beach, parking can be a challenge no matter the time of day. And spots like these can be hard to come by. Atlantic Beach city leaders are hoping a new paid parking program will mean more open spots for families. I don't know about that Gator tail, Courtney, but I did bring us back to Gator territory here, and I have two special people to introduce you to right now. We got Joe here, but we've also got Diesel. Take a look at this boy. He just put on his Gator outfit for us. Oh. Now that these school buses are back out on the roads, you might notice a tag on the back of them, now hiring bus drivers. For families visiting Memorial Park in Riverside, this has been part of their view for going on 2.5 years. This park is among several city parks that still need repairs years after the hurricanes. Gloria Cook and many other families enjoyed the sun at the North Bank Riverwalk Friday.
On a gorgeous day like this. I just think it's one of the greatest places ever.
Along her walk, this eyesore. The city's floating docks left crumbling years after Hurricane Matthew damaged them in 2016.
Yeah, I would think that that'd probably be completed by now.
At Memorial Park, more work yet to be done. I showed you what it looked like when water came pouring in after Irma. My Action News Jax investigation in July 2019 uncovered 11 parks still needed repairs. 7 months later, 7 parks still need work, including the Jacksonville Beach Pier.
We like to go fishing. We're waiting on the pier. The pier is closed right now.
In July, the city blamed the holdup on FEMA. Reimbursement money still hadn't come in. The combined cost of the damage at all parks was $24.5 million. I requested the total payout from FEMA today. I'm still waiting to hear back. Families tell me they'll be glad to see the parks restored.
It'd be nice to have it back put together the way it was so we can enjoy it.
Designs for the new handrails here at Memorial Park are already finished. The project is now in the bid process. You can take a look at when all these projects are expected to be finished. Just go to actionnewsjax.com. And Ben, I learned from the district today that these Wellness Wednesday videos are part of the state-mandated lessons on both mental and emotional health for students. But this parent tells Action News Jax that one scene in that video crossed the line.
I was appalled that the district would have allowed such a context to be displayed.
Jacksonville dad Josh Trent tells me that was his reaction to a video shown to his daughter's middle school class. It focused on 10 signs of healthy and unhealthy relationships. One of them,
sabotage. When someone purposely ruins your reputation, achievements, or success.
An animated cartoon character shows his friends a photo of foodie pics.
Aw, you're showing them my foodie pics.
Seconds later,
show us more photos.
Sweet!
What? You're showing them my booty pics?
The implication was that sending inappropriate photos was a norm for relationships.
Trent tells me he came across the video in this Facebook post before his daughter saw it at school, so he pulled her out of class. He sent an email to the district saying, at no point did the video tell children they should not be sending explicit photos, despite it being illegal. He sent me this reply from the director of school behavior health, calling it a missed opportunity to delve into the legal implications. The director said the January Wellness Wednesday lesson featured explicit instruction not to send inappropriate images.
The last thing I want is for a child in this district to think that sending photos of themselves inappropriately is the right thing to do.
And I asked the district how parents are made aware of the content of these videos besides on Facebook. They showed me a place where they are posted on the district website. Meanwhile, they're asking if parents are able to opt out of these because they are state-mandated lessons. And Dawn, in the past 90 minutes or so, a woman came up to me saying it was her 15-year-old son who was killed here. This is where we saw police this morning here on Academy Street, and you can see a marking left in the roadway from their investigation. But what I really want to show you right now is this family's car. If you take a look at the window there, they tell me they don't know anybody involved in this shooting, but their window hit by gunfire. A surveillance camera captured the sound of 6 gunshots, followed by 3 more, then the final shot. Neighbors tell me moments later they saw a teen terribly hurt stumbling down the road. Alyssa White called 911.
He made it all the way to the end of the road and he collapsed right over there on the lawn.
Neighbors tell me this is where that teen took his final breath. Police say a second teenager was also shot.
It's terrible for anybody to get shot, but for a child to get shot, and especially right here in front of a house. And he died.
We saw crime scene units come back to this street 12 hours after the gunfire. We also found bullet holes in this car, in the window and front tire. The mom who owns it tells me off camera she's also shaken and scared for her children.
To know that someone on our road, on our street like that shooting, for what reason I wouldn't know, to shoot a child.
It's 37 degrees.
You'll go until you see a prominent gate, turn around, and come back the same way. Y'all good to go?
These recruits are up before the sunrise on a 5-mile run. Their goal, to become a Green Beret.
3745.
The Florida Army National Guard, 3rd Battalion, 20th Special Forces Group Airborne is stationed at Camp Blanding. They are masters of unconventional warfare, called on for quick strikes and specialized missions around the world.
But SF, you could be at an embassy in one country talking to an ambassador. Next week you could be in a foreign or hostile country engaging combatants. It's so diverse.
Let's go! Drive.
Recruits come from both military and civilian backgrounds, like this candidate.
I know they're studying me. I know they're watching every second, and like, can I keep that in my mind to where like I'm just trying to stay on the straight and forward. So, a lot of mental prep, a lot of prayer.
We're gonna put this the other way. Then
It's a weekend-long Special Forces readiness exercise. Armed with mock weapons and lugging these water jugs, they set out on a half-mile trek, carrying 100 pounds. It was too much for 2 candidates, who called it quits.
Incoming!
These guys just finished up the obstacle course. Now they're headed into the woods for the team events. In this scenario, they've taken on gunfire and have to carry their casualty through the woods. Mental toughness and teamwork. Recruits are given near impossible tasks.
But because our jobs require a lot more responsibility, we need to test them emotionally as well. If they break and they can't make a decision under pressure, then that ultimately, in worst case scenario, can cost lives.
Make sure that you're pulling it back and letting it release.
A few days before the exercise, a gun safety briefing.
So we're going to lock the bolt to the rear.
Where I learned how to load a weapon.
There we go.
And safely fire. It's a highly selective group. Only 14 of the 28 candidates passed. 14 men now one step closer to earning this badge. Reporting at Camp Landing, Brittney Donovan, CBS 47 Fox 30, Action News Jax.